Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is. It's time for the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. Interested to know what injuries you've had during your lifting career and how you've worked around them. A couple of minor hamstring pulls. We'll call them tears because a pull is a tear. At least one of them bruised. How do I work around that? I do tons of good mornings. I find that I only ever pull my hamstrings on a deadlift if I have not been doing good mornings. Okay, that's it. The only thing that seems to work around it. Uh, Distal bicep rupture, complete rupture, had to be repaired, and I also had to have part of my bicep cut out by the doctor. Long backstory as to what happened. He removed a section of my bicep about the size of my thumb. When I saw it sitting there later, it's about the size of my thumb, I'd estimate. How do I deal with that? I have to be careful with what I do with my arm. I find low bar squatting is completely out of the question. It makes my bicep tendon hurt, makes my shoulder hurt. It's not even an option for me, and it's just as well because plenty of the best squatters in the world are high bar squatters. There are plenty of world record holders in powerlifting who are high bar squatters. Okay, low bar is not necessary. I don't even think it's that great, my opinion. So not a big deal. I don't do any low bar squatting. I have to be careful of what I do with that left bicep. I can't go super heavy on anything that's supine. Like for a while, if you guys remember, I was hitting really heavy maxes and stuff on weighted chins. That eventually irritates my bicep tendon. It is probably not a good idea, not a good option. So basically, I'm just careful of how much supine stuff I do with that arm. And yeah, I've gone through phases where I've done more supine curls and things. I just find that I can't do large amounts of that stuff. So I just have to pay attention to that tendon. I have to be aware of the fact it can also make locking that arm a little hard in certain positions. Okay, so we work around it. We're careful. Though again, certain things I can't do with that arm and shoulder as a result of it. So I make the best of it and I train around it, and it's not really an issue. It's not stopped me from making gains. It's not stopped me from making progress. We just accept it. And I also have to accept that it will always possibly limit overall bicep size for me. So again, it is what it is. There's nothing that can be done about it. Nothing that can be done about it. So we work around these things. Outside of that, no real other major injuries that are limiting me. Okay? We have to be smart with our training. We have to learn how to train around inflammation, things that hurt us, whether they're there from previous injuries or just our structure. Okay? There's certain things you just can't do due to your anatomy. That's fine. We avoid those things. And like with anything else, we train around an injured area or permanent injury or scar tissue. We just train around it. And in my case, we just do only high bar squatting. Don't do 1 rep maxes on the chin up. Probably not a wise idea to do really heavy supine grip movements of any type. I'm fine with hammer grip stuff. Doesn't irritate it at all. All right, next question. Jason, how would you go about programming assistance lifts for someone running 5-3-1? Good question. The same way I'd program them for someone running conjugate. Why would we program them different? What is 5-3-1? 5-3-1 is a program designed around a template for progression with your heaviest sets on the big four, the squat, bench, deadlift, and the press. Okay, that's what 5-3-1 is. Whereas in conjugate is usually rotating every week your max effort work with speed work on your big three, squat, bench, and deadlift, and their variations. Okay. The base template's the same thing. It's there to get you big and as strong as possible on your primary lifts, right? It's a progression pattern and a way to program them. Your assistance lifts are there to handle your general hypertrophy and to quickly bring up your weak points. They're there for training volume, for size, and bringing up weak points. I would program them the same. Come in and do things like 3 to 5 sets of 10, sometimes 12s, 15s, 20s, whatever you need to do to get the training volume for all your weak links that are holding back your big four. Okay, I would look at your peak sets when you get to the ones, right? That's singles, 5-3-1, you're going to hit singles. Singles tell you everything about your weak links. You assess your singles, you video your singles, and if you have ever done a single and not filmed it on a camera your entire life, I don't know what you think you're doing. You're wasting your time. You need to be able to see every single that you do. Okay? You need to video it. You take that footage and you find your weakest links in those singles, which come out, and put tons of hypertrophy towards that weak link. Okay, if your triceps are limiting your bench, you need to do tons of hypertrophy work for your triceps. I don't care whether it's closed grip presses, JM presses, board presses, dips, whatever you need to do. If your upper back is your weak link on the squat, the deadlift press, anything else, you need to come in and do tons of rows. Tons of rows for high reps. Okay, this is pretty straightforward, isn't it? You see where we're going with this? You program the assistance list on 531 just like you would any other base template of program. You get most of your size and particularly all your weak point training out of those assistance lists. Train them accordingly. Volume, volume, volume within your maximum recoverable volume with a focus on your weakest links. It's pretty straightforward, guys. All right, next question. Do you think more high quality training sets spread out throughout the week result in more rapid muscle growth and strength when applied to a particular lift, for example, the overhead press? Let's say doing 10 to 12 sets to 20 to 35 sets. Yeah, I'm going to tell you straight up, this is like that one clown who was really weak and not gaining anything was talking about doing 30 sets of overhead presses every week. No, absolutely not. Especially not a big movement. What do I generally have most of my lifters do? On a big movement that we're using, maybe 5 sets twice a week. Okay. So if you're talking about doing 20 sets of overhead press a week already? Do you not have any room left for your benching? Because 20 sets of overhead press, that's going to eat up most of your pressing recovery in general. So taking that past 20 sets, no. You're not doing high quality sets, or you've got an extreme lifestyle, or you're on the sauce if you're exceeding 20 work sets on a big movement every week. Okay, realistically, no, this is not going to work. In the context of the right drug stack, could this be beneficial? Yes. If you're a natural lifter, a drug-free lifter, let's throw the word natural out. I hate that term. It's more, if you say the word natural for drug-free, you're probably an idiot. So, drug-free. There's no way. No way I would exceed 20 sets of overhead press for somebody drug-free. I wouldn't even generally do 20. I'd probably cap it at 10. No, you're not going to see benefits of doing more spread through the week. You can create whatever hypothesis you want for this, but it's very unlikely to give you the desired results. All right, next question and last question of the week. Why do we do 10 rep sets after maxing on conjugate? Why can't you do 6 to 8 reps? Isn't there the same amount of effective reps? Not necessarily. It comes down to exercise selection and what it is we're trying to do. When we're doing conjugate, we have 3 basic training modalities. We have max work, we have speed work, and we have repetition effort. Okay. We don't try to overlap training variables. And I'm not saying you can't do some 6s or 8s on certain movements that maybe lend themselves very well to that. But for the majority of your training, most of our exercises that we're trying to train are going to lend themselves very well to high reps that we're doing for volume. Okay? Why are we doing supplemental lifts and repetition work? To create very large amounts of metabolic fatigue. Do we care that much about tension there? No, because we already get maximum tension. Okay, usually a lot of times when people try to do hybrid type stuff, they're trying to get multiple performance elements and benefits woven into one thing. In conjugate, we don't do that. We don't care. We maximize on everything. Okay? We don't look at our max work and say, man, can I generate more metabolic fatigue if I try to do 20 of these singles? No, we want to lift as heavy as we possibly can, because we know that we get our maximum max effort response and maximum tension from doing the heaviest single that we can do. Our speed work, we're concerned with repeatedly hitting upper threshold fibers and maximum compensatory acceleration. Any other benefit that we get is incidental. We don't care about the tension. We're getting that already off the heavy work. Now, it will generate a lot of fatigue and create hypertrophy, but we also know we're going to get lots of hypertrophy work later. So let's come over to why do we do the high rep supplemental work. We can get a lot more training volume that's easy to recover from with the higher reps. Okay. we're not going to get a lot of benefits from trying to get a lot of tension out of that. We're already getting that on the max work, particularly if it's in the same day. What do you think you're going to get out of it? You might beat your joints up a little more, but we're already maximizing tension and maximizing strength off the maxes. We don't need to concern ourselves with getting it off of a secondary lift. It's not going to benefit you to the degree that you think. We just want to throw training volume and work capacity at those muscles after that to get them growing. We've hit our upper threshold fibers. Now we'll hit them again off the smaller exercises when we hit failure. But it's an issue of balancing your recovery with the volume. And it's not trying to say, yeah, but I'll get more tension with a 6-rep set. Yeah, so what? You'll also put more strain on your joints and everything. We're getting enough of that on the maxes. Again, it might count for every now and then certain exercises, maybe a board press or a floor press or something. Okay, fine. But certainly not the majority of your lifts. We're thinking in terms of stimulus to fatigue. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.